you're watching to the Black Eagles podcast, a Beşiktaş talk show.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru aksiyon kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Zuma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet. Ve
Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast on the eve of Beşiktaş crashing out of the semi-finals of the Turkish Cup after what was, in my humble opinion, a very good game from the Black Eagles, but it was not to be. We couldn't score. We created chances, not a plethora of big chances. I think we created a lot of half chances, a couple of good chances. Good football, won the ball back constantly, aggressive, tenacious. And then right at the end, when you think we're going to extra time, we give away a silly penalty and we concede and crash out of the cup. I'm joined by my usual co-hosts from New York City, Sinan Schwarting, and from Scotland, Glasgow, Kartal. Gentlemen, the season is effectively over with 2 more matches to go. No final on the 22nd of May. How does it feel? How are you guys feeling? How are you guys holding up?
I mean, I'll let Sinan go first. Sorry, Sinan.
No, yeah. I am in a bad place. I'm not going to lie. I feel like that was not... I'm not pleased with the starting 11. I don't think playing without any wingers at all is the way to go. And I'm not very pleased with the performance. Certainly not as pleased as you were, Con. I mean, I agree that we didn't deserve this loss. I don't even think we deserved a draw. And I'll even add, I think we were robbed. I think the referee should clearly have called that foul about 3 feet outside of the box. I'm not really sure what the hell happened there. I mean, I get it. The contact with the foot was in the box, but he's clearly yanking on his jersey and like tugging down on him, which is a foul, well outside of the box. So I don't, I'm angry at a lot. I'm angry about the season being over. I'm angry that we finally had some momentum and some motivation, it looked like, to kind of like have something to play for that could really affect next season in a positive way and give us something, a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, launch pad, so to speak. And that's all gone now, clearly. At this point, the most we can hope for is that Trabzonspor will win.
Yeah.
And give us a shot at the Europa League through 2 rounds of qualifiers, is it? Or 3?
Qualifiers, yeah. Kartal,
so that's a hell of a thing to be hoping for at this point, given what we were on the brink of having access to.
Kartal, your thoughts? What did you think of that lineup and just generally?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought it was strange, and I'm going to do a shameless plug here. For was it $1.99 on Patreon? You can watch me, Sebastian, who I actually met for the first time today. Lovely guy. It was nice to meet Sebastian, and Ura, another good friend of the podcast, also a lovely guy. Me, and the two of them, we watched the game together, and overall we had a good time. The football was good. The banter was flowing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say. I mean, the football wasn't amazing, but it was tenacious. We fought a lot. There was a lot of fight and desire from Beşiktaş. As Khan said, we're winning the ball back quickly. Yes, maybe there was a lack of clear-cut positions, but I think we were by far and away the better team. We deserved to win this game. There was times where we could have scored as well. I felt like there was also several instances where we were putting these dangerous balls into the box, and just as someone was able to get a head on it, something on it, we could have got the ball in. Missed a couple of chances. Asllani had a half chance, and Didi had a good chance. We hit the bar once, the post once. Really, we this game was all us, really. I mean, up until that penalty, they had one good attack all game. That, yes, fair enough, they had a chance, but they didn't score it. I thought like Olaitan, I felt terrible for because I thought, especially in the second half, Olaitan was one of the best players in the park. And
He was brilliant. Yeah.
if you look at the form up stats, Olaitan was the player that created the most chances in this football game. He had 3 chances created, 3 key passes, but he got a bit unlucky. Sinan got a fair point. The contact starts outside. I think, as I said on Patreon, a cheap plug again, $1.99 if you want to subscribe to that. I said, if you're going to like start tugging on him there, you need to make sure you get that fucker down before you're in the box, and else you're running the risk of there being a penalty. And the player goes down in the box, and the contact resumes in the box. So I don't think we can really complain too much that was a penalty kick. I think if it was the other way around, we'd be on a penalty kick.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. Obviously, this season it's been another failure. Really, Beşiktaş has tested all our mental health very well over the last 5 years, I feel.
Sure.
The fact that we're all alive and kicking is a testament maybe to the strength of us.
Our spirit.
But I mean, it's another failure of a season. I'm not going to blame this game on the coach. I think maybe you could put a lot of the season on the whole as a coach, and then come to a conclusion that this isn't the way forward. But I don't think you can do it based off of this game. I think Beşiktaş were the better team in this game and should have won the game ultimately.
Yes.
And if you sign up to the Patreon and watch along, you'll see that we all kind of felt the same way about the game. Also, if you want to see me kind of crash out a bit at the end, if that might be entertaining for some of you.
We're to $1.99 on its own. Just to
I
see.
do advise a subscription. Yeah.
And if there's any Konyaspor or Fenerbahce Galatasaray fans there who want to feed on your tears, Kartal, they'll have to pay for it, right? It's hidden behind the paywall. But let's talk about that lineup because Sinan wasn't happy with it. I personally, I was interested. I was intrigued by the lineup. So maybe let's run it down quickly if you want, Sinan, and then I'll give my 2 cents on the lineup because I actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shall I do the rivals? The rivals today, or
nah? Let's make it a quick one. I don't think we want to linger too long.
Yeah.
Although I do want to say before anything else, congratulations to Konyaspor. I don't think they were good today. I think we played them off the park, but they didn't resort to it. It wasn't any dirty ticks, nothing. They won fair and square. We should have scored. We had the opportunities. We were good enough we weren't good enough in front of goal. We missed the killer ball, but they didn't rob us. They won fair and square. We shot ourselves in the foot, and I want to congratulate them and all the best in the final. Of course, for our selfish reasons, we hope Trabzonspor win it just so we can get that shot at the Europa League. But if Konyaspor win the cup, props to them. And props to them for beating us in our own stadium today because not an easy job for them. And props to Ilhan Palut, man. Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Trabzonspor, and now Beşiktaş. He scalped all 4 of the big 4 clubs in Turkey in one half of the season. So props to Ilhan Palut. If he still isn't on the shortlist of whoever is the Beşiktaş president in the next couple of months, then I don't know anymore. Because this guy deserves a shot at Beşiktaş. He's been dreaming of it since he was a wee lad. He's been a Beşiktaş fan since he was small. It shouldn't matter what his ethnicity is. He should be on top of the list. If we're gonna go for a Turk, he should be number 1. Sorry about that.
I don't think you can debate that whether if the Turkish coach is to be the first option, he'd be number 1. I mean, he didn't show us anything today in terms of good football.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But still, you have to give him props. This is.
Yeah,
not
he's been.
It's not a great Konyaspor side. Let's be honest.
And also, he kind of has debunked the biggest fear about him is he can't get it done in the big games because that was always the theme when he was at the other clubs. Was he'd play very good football in other games, but in the big games he'd basically get bent over backwards, man. But I mean, he's beaten the 4 big teams in Turkish football consecutively, so that does deserve a lot of praise. If there is going to be a coaching vacancy, definitely should be considered. Don't think he'd be my first choice. I think we should try it on and get a good foreign coach. But then again, are we going to be able to attract any good foreign coach? I doubt it.
Yeah, and what are you gonna, let's discuss it after the lineup. But let's continue. Let's put a pin in that because there has been some rumblings already. But Sinan, let's have this.
People agree with me. They agree with me. Okay. By the way, these ratings have already been updated. Like Olaitan is a 6.7.
Okay.
Everyone's been downgraded essentially. I'll read the upgraded stats. Updated rather. So in goal, Ersin Destanoğlu, who's been downgraded to a 5.7. We've got Emmanuel Agbadu, who's been down. Actually stays at a 6.9. Next to Emirhan Topçu, who was downgraded to a 7.5. Ridvan Yilmaz on the left side, downgraded to a 7.3. Amir Murillo, downgraded to a 6.5. Ndidi, downgraded to an 8.1, but still man of the match. Further up in the midfield, Aslani, downgraded to a 6.7. Orkun, downgraded to a 6.8. El Bilal Toure, downgraded to a 7.1. And Junior Olaitan, downgraded to a 6.7, with Oh Hyun-gyu downgraded to a 6.0. I will agree with you, Kartal, that Junior Olaitan was better in the second half. I think a lot of that was actually when he went back centrally after Vaclav Černý came in, which was quite late in the game. But he did immediately, I thought we looked better towards the end of the match and showed a little bit more intent. But yeah, I mean, I thought he had his first half was rough. I think Junior Olaitan.
Yeah, his second half was definitely better than his first, but I didn't feel like anyone had a rough game in the first half. I thought we were really sharp in the first half. We suffocated them. We pushed them back. We didn't they didn't win any second balls. I felt like every time. Like, they couldn't play out from the back. We won it back straight away. It was like a proper gegenpress performance. It just lacked clear-cut chances. I think O had one really good one where he did well, but it was just a good save by Bahadır Güngördü. And then in the second half, there was, like, as we were talking about on the watch-along, Kartal, there's like 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, like, just out of the gate from the second half up until like the 60th, 65th minute or something, I felt like Konya had the upper hand for a bit, and they were, or at least we weren't as relentless as we had been in the first half. But then we took over again, and we basically took over until the very end of the game. And yeah, I don't know. I thought that the tactical plan from Sergen, I have to give him props. I think it worked. I think this lineup worked. It's just, we don't have the quality wingers, but I think tactically it worked. I can't criticize it. I just can't. You can say, okay, you should have started with wingers, but I think this was the best game we have played in. I mean, not counting the Antalya.
Antalya.
But the Antalya game, can you really even count that one? Because I didn't think Antalya.
We were good.
We were good,
we
but
played
Antalya was also shit. I don't know. I think this was, in terms of intensity, I think this was the best performance I've seen in a long time. It's just, very, very. Kartal aptly compared it to last season's game against Göztepe in the cup, where we also played really well up until the moment that Tayyip Talha gets the red card. And
I think we played better in that game, to be honest, than this one. But it was similar. It's similar there, where we were the better team until something like that happened, like a red card in that case, and in this case, apparently.
But yeah, in this case, it's even like it's at the very dying moments of the game, and then we still create like two chances. By the way, like we still almost scored twice after they scored.
I seen man with the header,
actually with the header, and right before that, I think we had Ndidi or Agbado or something. So it's like it wasn't our night, and. In the whole, the picture as a whole of a season, I 100%, and lots of people in the comments right now saying Sergen out, Adali out, and I agree in principle with these people. The big question is, what comes next, right? What comes next? And yeah, I don't know. Let's have a quick look at these stats. Let's get them out of the way, and then we can talk about that because I think that's gonna be the bulk of the conversation tonight, guys. No XG here, but we have a decent amount of stats.
So yeah, 59% of the ball for us to their 41%. 16 shots to their 7. 1 on target to their 1. 32 touches in their box to their 8. 0 big chances to their 2. Obviously none missed to their 1. We completed 338 passes at an 82% clip compared to their 226 at a 77% rate of success. We committed 13 fouls. They committed 15. We were offsides twice. We were offsides once. They were offsides twice. We had 15 corners to their 4. So yeah, I mean, when you look at these numbers, obviously it speaks to a game that was not like a blowout by any stretch, but certainly Beşiktaş, you'd think, would win. Obviously all except for the big chances. I don't know what to make of that. But how about them duels, Kartal?
Jules, we won 64 to their 48, 58% of them. On the ground, we won 37 to their 32, 54% of them. In the air, we won 27 to their 16, 63% of them. In terms of dribbles, we had 7 successful dribbles at a clip at 39%, which tells you what, we tried 17 dribbles. They had 1 successful dribble in the whole game, which is crazy. The success rate was 17%, so... Well, that tells you that they maybe tried, I don't know, 7 dribbles or something like that. Yellow cards, 3 for us, 2 for them, and then there was no red cards in the game.
No, and I mean, total domination really on a tactical, on a statistical point of view. But I also just think if you like, sometimes you have these stats where it looks like one side dominated, but the other side really deserved it. But I think these stats reflect the game properly, I feel like, where we were by far and away the better team. If any team deserved to win today, it was Beşiktaş. But we didn't have the quality. And that's been the story of our season and the story of last season too. But last season we still had Rafa. And Rafa could win us matches with moments of brilliance and quality. But this season... the only player who can do that really is Orkun, and Orkun is a midfielder. Rafa is an attacker. That's the big difference, I feel. And yeah, it's just like for the past 2, 3 years, 4 years, just the absolute sheer lack of quality on those wings. It kills us again. And I'm sorry, but that is a responsibility. Like, how much money did we spend this season? We spent close to 100. But net spent, I would say 70-80 million. How can you not bring in that winger? That is such a failure once again. And then let's go to these comments, guys, because they're blasting off. Lots of people giving their statements. So I don't know if you guys want to pour anything else in, or shall we just dig straight into these comments? Because I feel like...
I want to read a quote from Sergen Yalchin that kind of tells you that the end is near.
Yeah.
He says that there's no plan for the season in front. We've got 2 games left. Let's play them and we'll see. He says that the fans...
he means for his future. To put that into context, he means for him. He doesn't mean for the club. He doesn't mean like we're not been working on transfers and stuff like that. I think he's basically indicating it stops here. Yeah.
He says the fans giving this much of a reaction wasn't very good. I'll say that. I came here for the benefit of Beşiktaş. He says last time I came like this in the first season. Yeah. He says that the community has no patience, but you need to you basically need to give some credit to the community as well. So you need to say that they're also they're right to a degree. But the funny guy is, man, like this fucker on TV last year. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the language.
Yeah, no.
Was saying that saying that you can't. There's no such thing as time at a big club like Beşiktaş, and ever since he's came out, he's been asking for his time.
Yeah.
So see, really, man, like I could respect what he's saying if he wasn't a fucking hypocrite.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said on the last show. Right? If it wasn't for the fact that he wasn't sawing at all his legs, and when I mean his legs, like the legs of his chair for months, then I wouldn't. Then from right now, if he wasn't doing that in the media openly, publicly, every week on TV, and I understand, okay, he needs to get ratings and stuff like that, but fucking shit on the other clubs or something, now whatever. But like, if he wasn't doing that, then right now for me it would be okay, give him another season. But because he did that, to me it's like, yeah, put your money where your mouth is, or put your performance where your mouth is. If you criticize somebody that harshly for failing, then you should just criticize yourself for failing. This is no different than... I mean, right now, Sergen is basically having the identical season to Ole last season. Except for Ole beat Galatasaray, beat Fenerbahce, beat Trabzonspor, beat Athletic Bilbao. Ole had won big matches. Ole finished 4th. Ole didn't win the cup. Sergen finished 4th. Sergen didn't win the cup. Sergen didn't win a single derby. Ole won, Sergen 0. Right? So, yeah. Sinan, you're sitting on you're hatching an egg there. I can see it, but you keep turning small. God damn it! I don't know what's up with that.
I know. There we go again.
Yeah.
I'm almost speechless, but you know, I've formulated, I think, a coherent thought on all of this, which is that tumult for the sake of tumult is what got us here. We've made so many knee-jerk decisions that were half-baked that, like, we should have, even if they might have ended up being the right decision, the timing of them wasn't right.
Yeah.
We should absolutely have a better manager, and we should have a better boardroom for that matter.
Yeah.
And all of it. But like given where we are and given what we're sort of stuck with anyhow, for now, I don't know that I want Adala at the wheel making another coaching decision and sort of setting us back another 2 years, because this next coach that he wants to play with wingbacks and, you know, like whatever the hell it is. And so then we start building out another squad and none of these guys fit that one. And then, you know, and we just get back into this cycle of knee-jerk shit. Like, look, that's not to say, however, that if a really good manager is somehow available and Adala's in touch with them and he can kind of, you know, he knows for sure that if he fires Sergen, he's got like a good option in place, that he could really be setting the foundations for something that goes beyond his lifespan with the club, right? Like the people who plant trees that they're never going to live to see the shade in, type of thing, right?
You're asking for a lot there.
But no, I mean, that's my point. Like, not only is he not the right man to make that hire, because even Ole was someone on someone else's list that he inherited, and then he undermined his own project to get his boy Sergen in, who, you know, here we are now. The fact of the matter is who's willing to take this job, and is there not a 75% chance that we're stuck with Şenol Güneş, who's like, you know, speaking of someone who's not going to live to see the trees plant, like the shade from the trees they planted, you know, like, come on, man, we're not going back. I mean, yeah, it's hard for me to imagine who comes in next.
Yeah. And we've been saying this, I think, the entire season, Sinan. If before anything, before Sergen, if Sergen has to go, before he goes, the first person who should go is Adala. I think at the end of the day, nobody is more to blame for this season than Adala. And look, I'm kind of torn, because I do think they did a really good job in January with the transfers. And a big part of me wants to see what they do in the summer. But yeah, and Kartal, you said when we were wrapping up the watch along on Patreon, you said that apparently there's been a rift or something.
According to Mustafa Karataş, who since he's became a reporter has been one of the more reputable ones, I'd say. So he's saying that there's problems inside, and he says it's highly unlikely that Sergen Yalçın will be the Beşiktaş coach in the new season.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his language...
Wait. Say it again. He said he won't be, or he will?
It's very, very unlikely.
Oh, okay.
And also, I
I
mean,
mean, if you look at what Sargan just said, that's a man that's going to be in charge for the next 2 games and then go.
but that also fits Sergen's character, right? Like Sergen.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably the one that would leave.
No,
right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, you also have to give him credit to an extent as well. Like I think he's aware that he failed, and I think the decision would ultimately be his. I don't think it's gonna be a situation of Adala sacks him.
Yeah, we'll tell you what Adala needs to do, man. See if Adala is going to stay. But I think we should go to a congress.
Yeah.
Once the season's over.
He should go
Hopefully
to
Congress.
he should go to Congress. He should announce it right now. Should give it a month and then go to Congress. So
And I think
beginning of June.
there's another thing he
I'd
could
like
do.
to see Fikret Orman as president with Ange Postecoglou as his coach. That's what I want.
There's
another thing he could do.
Yeah.
He could hire Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. No, I'm kidding. Let him finish the job. God damn it. No.
Ange's the
kidding.
profile that the fans would actually accept me.
You think he'd come?
Yeah.
I think he could probably get.
No.
See, it's unlikely, but I think because the whole Nottingham Forest thing went so badly, it's more likely now.
I feel like he could get like the Real Madrid job. That's the kind of like, you know what I mean? He's already,
no
he's
chance.
almost.
No chance. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. That was an exaggeration, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he's in line for a kind of big job where they go creative. You know what I mean? Like a Dortmund or a
Dortmund.
something
Actually,
like that.
Dortmund would fit Ange perfectly, right? Because like he loves that aggressive gegenpressing style.
exactly.
I say give Ange the bag, man, bring him in.
I mean, but that's also one of my big questions. So let's be honest, Settle Adal has been the president, the biggest spender in the history of the club. If you look at what he spent this season. So my question then is, whoever comes in next, what are they gonna do? What kind of policy are they gonna have? Are they gonna go back to let's rein this coin purse in? I kind of feel like, yeah, we started something in January at least, building a successful or good spine of a team, and I feel like we have to finish this now in the summer. And yeah, you say Uchel, he could come in. I'm sure he would put his money where his mouth is. But Orman, to me, look, if anyone comes, Orman, if he's a candidate, of course he's top of. I think anyone would vote for him blindly almost, but. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go as excessive as Adala, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
Jan said Ange might just go back to Celtic. They actually did approach him after Nancy left, and I think Ange has been quite clear on that he's not one for going back places once he's left. I think it's possible. After the Nottingham Forest thing went so badly, which I don't think was his fault, because his mistake was accepting that job, I think, because there was basically the transfer window had already shut, and when you go from Nuno Espirito Santo, it's got a very kind of defensive style, and then you bring in a coach like Ange, and he doesn't have the chance to bring in any of his own players. I think that was just a disaster waiting to happen, and it was. So I don't think the actual performance was his fault. You could say that whoever advised him to take the job at that time was at fault, but I believe because there was that great connection between him and the Nottingham Forest president or owner, probably kind of pushed him to that.
Yeah. Let's read some of these comments, guys.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of.
They want to go back. All right, let's go back. So first of all, the not Swedish kebab with the coffin emoji to kick things off. Shouts to you, Finnish kebab. Grey Wolf, no speculation, no debate. Sergen and Adala out immediately.
Yeah.
Yusuf, I wonder which Yusuf that is. He says second half was dog shit.
I don't agree.
Nasser,
I think it was bad up until like the 60th minute or something, but then after that it was good. Yeah, I think it was good after that, quite frankly.
Nasser said Sergen and Adala out, get them gone. But that wouldn't be a surprise from our friend Nasty Naz. He's been saying that for a while. Then, of course, we have Lufinos, who was apparently on your watch-along. He says, Adala and crew plus Sergen and crew istifa.
Yeah.
So there is a chorus growing, and then Nasty Nas waiting until the 83rd minute to make a change with no wingers on the pitch is inexcusable. That alone should be a sackable offense. And then there was a theme of people talking about that right wing situation.
I thought Olaitan was good, man, and I thought it worked. It worked. We played well. You can't fault the game plan today, and not playing a winger. I'm sorry, our wingers are shit. So the players when we were subbing, when we were about to sub, when we were doing our live our watch line, I literally said to the guys, I said, yeah, we need to make a sub, but who do we take out? Nobody's been bad. Everyone's had a good game, except for El Bilal in the second half was a little. He was pretty invisible for a long stretch of time, and then right when we were talking about subbing, he just had two really good moments, and then Aslani, like him and Aslani were the most obvious ones, but there wasn't a real obvious one, I would say. Whereas usually you have a guy and there's like, he's not playing well today, let's take him out, put somebody else in. But that wasn't the case today. I felt like the entire team, everyone was good. The last ball was bad. But Kartal, what do you think? Do you blame the fact that we didn't play wingers and that he waited until the 83rd minutes?
Nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think the coach is the reason we didn't win this football game. I think it just wasn't our night, as you alluded to, Can. Obviously, Olaitan should have brought the player down there. Should have brought Aguido down.
No, of course. Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't have it in him because that boy came on late. He was fresh. He was fast.
He was kind of giving us trouble the moment he came in. Right?
Yeah, it was a good sub by Ilan Palut. Credits. They had a winger that could have an impact that came off the bench, and our winger that came off the bench didn't have shit.
Yeah.
Sinan, what do you think? You seem not happy with the lineup. Do you agree with what the Nasty Nas is saying here, or?
I've been saying for a long time that whenever in those moments out of sort of desperation or because of injuries or whatever it is that provokes it, whenever Sergen plays two wingers, we're always creating 2 or 3 XG, which has happened like 5 times total. But it seems marked that the moment you get some proper wingers out there, we're suddenly able to create more. So I do think. So apparently we got an XG. By the way, we were beaten in that barely, but
really,
it wasn't a high XG performance by either side.
Where did you get the XG? Because
Nasty Nas got it. I think probably from SofaScore is my guess.
Okay.
I can pull it up if you guys give me a sec. Let's see what we got.
Because we had a really good header from Ndidi. We had the El Bilal shots that hit the bar. That's not gonna have a high XG. But the chance for that Bahadır saved, that's definitely a decent XG chance. So they get the penalty, so that's like 0.75 XG, I guess. What else did they do? They had one chance.
Yeah.
Right.
Nasser, where did you get the XG from? I'm honestly curious.
I don't think there's gonna be
he can fill us in with
very
that
reliable number of XGs there, to be honest.
I did feel that we were lacking the incisiveness.
No, of course. We created some good chances, but it wasn't the plethora of chances by any stretch of the imagination, and it just comes back down to the fact that we don't have that quality. Yeah, other than Orkun, I think Kartal said it during the watch along. Other than Orkun, there's nobody with a quality ball or final.
What I'll say though is that one of the things that was working the best of late, and that really seemed to become the sort of fulcrum for positive things, was that we had that midfield with Ndidi kind of fully in the back, manning that 6 role, with Junior Olaitan and Orkun in the middle. And I don't necessarily understand the need to tinker with that. I don't think, You know, especially if you are going to do that and you want to play like Junior Olaitan on the wing, I don't think you play El Bilal opposite him, because that, for me, that's been a problem all season, is that El Bilal isn't doing enough to create chances, and so we're kind of playing, you know, limping on one side a little bit, although obviously you have that, you know, whenever he comes in and sort of slides in behind the striker, he's a danger for a goal or two. So, you know, I feel like he's like, there were slightly too many risks taken in that sense.
But on the other hand, though, Sinan, we won basically all the duels. We won all the second balls, except for that stretch in the second half where, you know, from the beginning of the second half until like the 60th minute, like 15 minutes or so, they had a good 15 minutes. But other than that, for like 75 minutes of the remainder of the game, we were on them, man, and we just, every time they couldn't play out from the back, they just booted up the field. We instantly won it back. Our midfield was, in that regard, it was sound, and I haven't seen our midfield function that well in a long time, man. But I agree with you as well, and I agree with Kartal too, that like Olaitan's best position, without a shadow of a doubt, is in the middle. And in an ideal world, you'd have two proper wingers out there, except of El Bilal, and you'd have Olaitan in the center instead of Islani. But let's be frank here, Cengiz and Černý don't deserve to start right now. Jota you can make an argument for, but
not happening.
I don't know.
That ship sailed, right?
At the end of the,
I mean, it's also worth noting that they scored that goal after Ndidi came off, and he quite heroically went for that header where he almost like brought it down, and he went back first into the pole, into you know. Into the goal.
Was he off the pitch?
And so he limped off. I don't know that he came back on, because there wasn't much time left after that. And I know, like, you know, so I'm guessing he didn't, or if he did, he was probably not not as spry as he'd been the rest of the game.
No, of course, no,
but so, you know, that's definitely worth noting as well. I mean, it is a shame because we definitely didn't deserve to lose it. Despite my criticism,
like you said, Sinan, I don't even think we deserve to draw. Like,
no.
There was only one team that deserved to win today, and that was Beşiktaş. But
and like the fact is Konya did absolutely nothing. No, they really did nothing.
No. I honestly I couldn't quite tell what was their plan today, because I think their plan was obvious: sit back, defend, soak up pressure, and try and counter. But we were too sharp. We were too aggressive on them. Won the ball back every time. We didn't give them an inch for 45 minutes. Then they got 15 minutes in after the halftime, where they kind of got into the game for a little bit, and then it was over again, and we were all over them again until the absolute ending of the game. And it's like the football gods wanted it so, because. Yeah, there's so much to criticize Sergen for this season, and there's a lot of things that, in my opinion, he deserves, are all grounds for dismissal. The way he treated Thailand, the way he treated Jota, the way he handled the whole Rafa Silva situation, because let's be honest, he definitely had a big part in that. There's so much where he fucked it up. And there's so many games where he messed up, and his man management and all that. But today, game plan, I don't fault him. I don't fault him for the lineup. I think, looking at the 90 minutes, I think we played a solid game, and his tactical plan worked. Other than the fact that we did not score, but at the end of the day, he doesn't have a PlayStation controller in his hands, and he isn't making the shots and whatever, right? Like, at the end of the day, it's still the players that need to give that final ball. It's still the players that need to score the goals. Jurasek, another example, by the way, of one of the players that he definitely mistreated, because, I mean, during the watch long we were talking about it, and Kartal was basically talking about Ridvan's final ball being so poor, and that's one of the things we could say Jurasek was really good at. And really, if you see how Beşiktaş have been playing in the second half of the season with the arrival of Murilo, we've been playing with our fullbacks higher up the pitch. Jurasek would have fit that ironically really well, and he would have done a better job, I think, than Ridvan. Not to say that Ridvan hasn't been good. this season. I think Rivan in the
He's
last
been
couple of
fine
months has
for
been, it's just he doesn't have that quality. But in his,
I actually think he had a bad April, but he had been getting better. Yeah.
and in his defense, nobody today had a good final pass, right? Other than Orkun, who had a couple of amazing passes again. But yeah, you need your.
Our canary in the coal mine attempted to troll us, but he couldn't keep it in his pants. I think he got a little too excited. So he screwed it up with the typo.
Oh.
Have you considered? Here, have you considered? Oops. And then he had to sort of go back to the drawing board.
What did he say?
He said, have you considered taking the cup more seriously?
I think we took it seriously enough, man. But yeah, it wasn't our day.
Yeah.
We went out on our merit. Again, like I said, I think only one team deserved to win today. It was Beşiktaş, but Konyaspor won, and they didn't steal it. They didn't cheat us. They weren't laying on the floor for 50 minutes. They weren't, I mean, look, the ref had some dubious calls. The penalty was a penalty. I don't think you can argue that. It's not like we had a penalty robbed of us on the other end at any point. There was a couple of moments where we wanted to get a penalty, but it was too soft. So who can you blame? You can blame yourself, and we should, because ultimately we failed to score, and that's our fault. But the performance was there, I think. The desire was there, the tenacity, the aggression.
Yeah.
It was there. It just wasn't our night.
I mean, who wasn't honestly scared when we went into the half 0-0, even though, we all saw them come out. They wanted this thing. They were kind of pushing for it. And so to go back into the tunnel, having not scored, and, it was ominous because, you just know, we know the Super League. We know that there's really no side in this league at this point, right? It's not like the 90s anymore where you have like Saudi who's just dropping 0-7 losses every week, right? Like any side can come out and beat your ass if you kind of take them lightly or if you just lose focus for just a second.
Yeah.
And especially if you can't put the goal in the back of the net, the ball in the back of the net. So
and they had
it is what it is.
And Konya had a couple of those concentration lapses, but we didn't capitalize, and we had one, and it was one too many, and that's the beauty. At the end of the day, that's also the beauty of football, right? Like the fact that Konyaspor can win this game like that.
It's the beauty of the cup.
Yeah, it is.
That's why you love the cup.
It is, and it's they were the underdogs. They were on the ropes for 75-80 minutes, and at the end of the day they win. So that's the beauty of football as well. Unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of the story, but yeah, I what can you say? I'll put it this way: I much rather lose a game like this than lose a game the way we did a couple of weeks ago against Fenerbahce, where you just get robbed. Where you just get...
I mean, we sort of did in a way, because I feel like that wasn't a penalty, but whatever.
Come on,
it wasn't like a blatant robbery.
It's not because he starts the fall outside. I mean, it's not the same as the Fenerbahce game. Here, he starts pulling outside, but he's still falling him when he's in the box. So there is a foul in the box. You cannot expect the referee to then say, "Oh, but the fall started before, so I'm just gonna overturn this penalty call," because then you're asking for him to favor you. Basically, I would have felt very dirty had he gone to VAR and overturned that, because that would have been injustice.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
For me, that's the purpose of VAR, right? Like if there's a foul outside of the box before the initial call.
But he...
Right, it's like it's like an offside,
yeah, but he doesn't,
before a goal is scored or whatever, right?
But
like
Sinan,
it's sort of correcting a miss.
He calls the fall in the box, not before, huh? So, I mean...
Yeah, but I just mean he's grabbing enough of his jersey and kind of yanking him.
Yeah, but
whatever.
But then if you want that fall, then he needs to pull him down outside the box. If he's still in the box and you haven't gotten him down yet, then yeah, too bad, too tough luck. It's a penalty. If it was on the other, like Kartal said, if that would happen on the other side, I would want a penalty too. And if they overturned that, I would feel like we robbed them, because that's a penalty. It's a penalty. Can't say anything. I think it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's a penalty. Olaitan makes a mistake, and let's call it his youthly enthusiasm. And I want to give him credit because I don't think those numbers. I think he got a 6.7. You said. I think that's very unfair to him because I thought he was amazing in the second half.
The penalty conceded that'll pull that rating down.
Yeah. I mean, I think he had a really good game. He had a couple of brilliant moments where we almost scored thanks to him because of his moments. And yeah, it wasn't to be today. Let's continue with the comments, unless you guys have anything to add, of course.
Kartal, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna leave it on Kartal's beautiful mug because he doesn't turn small every 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So, let's see. Grey says, I don't think the club has the finances to get a foreign coach unless they either from Turkey or externally from a mid-table or lower club.
Who would
Grey
come?
See if we can spend 30 million on one player, we can sign a good coach, I think. The matter is, the problem is actually finding someone that wants to come.
Exactly. Let's take Ange Postecoglou for example. You want him, but let's be real for a second. I don't think he can afford to do that right now after the Nottingham Forest situation. I think he needs whatever next job he takes. I think he needs to be sure that it's going to be a success so he can get back on the horse and maybe get back to the Premier League or whatever. Like, I don't think he can, taking a job in Turkey is so risky. It's such a big risk.
No, definitely. You just need to tell him, look, it's time to come home, to your fatherland. Exactly. I don't know if you guys know this, but his family are actually originally from Manisa.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, and then they swapped over citizens, so the Turks in Greece moved back to Turkey, and the Greeks in Turkey moved to Greece, but his family are actually from Manisa.
Okay.
So his family originate from modern day Turkey. So you need to appeal to that side of him, tell him it's time to come home.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think that'll work.
No.
Don't know how much that'll work, but maybe if you give him a fair size bag, that could work.
But we're not that club, right? Like, I could see Fenerbahce pull that, because that's for me. Like, if you see like the short list that they're supposedly having right now, Xabi Alonso and what else? Like, I mean,
I could coach him.
but Ange to Fenerbahce, I could see that happen, because Fenerbahce is like, they can say, okay, we'll give you 150 or 200 million transfer budget, and okay, but Beşiktaş, let's be honest, like, what are we gonna offer him, right?
Yeah, man, it's hard, man. But the only thing you could say though is Fikret Orman, if he was to come in, which I doubt it, I don't think Adal is going to resign. But if Fikret Orman was to come back, what I've mentioned before on this podcast is if Fikret Orman can show his track record that any coach that I've worked with has been given the time and has at least been given a full season.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I've ever finished his 1 season in charge. BH get 2 seasons. Şenol Güneş get 4 seasons. Avcı was Orman's hire, but Orman had left by the time he gets sacked. So Fikret Orman never sacked a coach mid-season. So if he was to come, he could just show his track record, and maybe, hopefully, I'm not saying it will, hopefully that could lead to us being able to attract a better coach. Because I mean, I don't think Adal can attract anyone, to be honest.
I mean, he can't even get a decent sponsor. So, like, let's be honest, like, the guy can't. I mean, just looking through, like, him and Ahmet Nurçebi have both devalued this club so badly. Hasan Arat, I can't really speak to, but his time was short, but I feel like every deal that Adala has signed so far has been like underwhelming, and underwhelming to just flat out shit, like, the Nike deal, the Beko, Tupras, like, there's so much potential. Like, Beşiktaş's shirt should be treated as prime real estate, and he's selling it for pennies on the dollar. The stadium is in such a beautiful location. Okay, you know what? I mean, the money we're getting from Tupras isn't terrible, but it's also not it's also not monumental or anything like that. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. One last comment. We've got Umar is taking a bit of a shot at Can.
Okay.
He's saying Can is talking like we did our best for his Dortmund or Ajax and just couldn't convert. They had Berkler, Couto and Dennis Turuc, man. How can we struggle to score?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, we just.
I mean, like, me and Catton both said, look, we weren't amazing, but the fight was good and we did deserve to win the game. Yes, it's a fair point. Perhaps we should be doing a lot better, but I mean, it is difficult when none of your wingers are performing well. To be fair, the only one that is performing doesn't get a look in.
I mean, we lost to nine-man Konyaspor last season as well, under, in my opinion, better coach. At the end of the day, you have to start wondering yourself, maybe it's just the quality of players, like, or the balance of the squad. And I think, yes, we have improved the squad, but we still haven't fixed the main issue, which is we don't have wingers.
Yeah.
And today again, I think that was the main issue. And it's not because Sergen decides to start with this lineup, it's because he doesn't have the options. And it was the same problem last season. He didn't have the options. Rasica, Černý in his current form, Cengiz in his current form. It's not great, let's be honest. And Jota, this is one of the biggest crimes that Sergen has committed this season alongside Thailand. He definitely should have been getting more chance, more opportunities, more minutes. But also, when he has played, he has shown flashes. But he's also not convinced us of, okay, this guy should definitely be playing every game either. Like, it's our transfer policy when it comes to wingers has been very poor. Let's be honest. We haven't signed a proper winger since Rachid Ghazal in 2020. So we're going on 6 years where we failed to sign a proper winger. And we've signed plenty, let's be honest. Ante Rebic, Černý now, Cengiz, Rasica, Kenny. We've signed plenty of wingers in those 6 years, but none of them have panned out. And all of them have been kind of like... I mean, let's be honest. For Černý, we knew Černý wanted to come since day one of the transfer window. And the entire transfer window, all of us were saying, yeah, Černý, he's not bad, but, you know, we expect more. And let's be honest, if Černý didn't have his personal problems right now, I think we would be pretty happy with Černý. But we still wouldn't be saying, okay, he's Ghazal, he's Quaresma, or whatever. Like, he would have never gotten to that point. And, yeah. Always under-deliver, right? I feel it's the same. Our winger transfer is kind of turned into our goalkeeper transfers, and we just keep underwhelming and underselling. And you know, Triple John will be able to relate to this. Fenerbahce have had the same issue for as long as I can remember with strikers, right? Like, they keep making wrong moves there. Like, since Moussa Sow. So for over a decade, they haven't had a proper striker signing. If you can call it, Sow was also a winger, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just been miss. Not a single hit in there, and we're the same with our wingers since Ghazal.
Yeah. No, so Umar says if he played the good players more often, we wouldn't be stuck with an optionless squad in May. I mean, his squad management definitely hasn't been good, but the team is definitely thin.
But who else, other than Jota, who should he have played that could have made a difference today?
Yeah, Thailand would have won this game even if he should have played more.
No, of course not. So other than Jota, there's nobody.
Yeah. Like, so I feel like the comments are kind of going towards other games. Umar did say
criticizing for other games is fair. Today, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty to criticize Sergen for throughout the season, but this game in a vacuum is not it.
Yeah, Umar said so. By other games, I meant people are talking about Arsenal. So to come up against Dennis Bardi, Malika, and Dennis Turuc and say we done well, we did our best, it's hard to accept. I mean, it's hard to accept, but Umar, we didn't deserve to lose today.
Can I ask?
But I understand your frustration.
What's the problem with Dennis Turuc? He's a quality player. I mean, he's getting older now. He's not he's not the same player he was 2-3 years ago, maybe. But
It's not Spencer.
you're acting like Denis Turic is some sort of Super League meme. He's everything but. In fact, I was saying to the guys during the Patreon stream, he's a player I always wanted at Beşiktaş since he was playing for Go Ahead Eagles. And I think it's a shame that he made a really poor career choice by going to Fenerbahçe, because he had the option at the time to go to Beşiktaş and Galatasaray. I think if he would have made a different decision in his career, I think he would have had a different career, because he's always been quality. So I don't know why you're using him as an example, because Berkan Kutlu, okay, but Dennis is a quality player, man.
Yeah. Right, guys, do you want to get this wrapped up now? We said we keep this one short.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
So, I mean, look, guys, everyone in the comments, everyone on Patreon, everyone who's a member, who supports us, who's been liking, who's been watching, who's been commenting, who's been whatever throughout the years. We're going on 8 years with this podcast. We started all the way back in 2018. And unfortunately, unfortunately, ever since we started this podcast, now we've had like one good season, right? So in 8 years, and I think that one good season was when I was living in a fucking container, so we weren't even putting out.
That was me soloing.
That was your
Did I solo it?
That was your solo. That was your solo era.
I soloed the championship run. That's crazy.
You did, I think, or at least a big part of it. So I mean,
wow.
It's been 8 years. We appreciate all of you sticking with us through these very barren times. But you know what? I mean, the sun always sets, but it always rises again, and inevitably it will rise again for Beşiktaş too. Let's hope it's next season. Let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks with the situation with Abdallah, with Sergen. It's gonna be a hectic summer again. We're gonna have to play at least 3 qualifying rounds. That is, of course, if we don't go out in the first 2. So it's gonna be a full summer again. Go check out patreon.com/BeşiktaşPodcast, where you will be able to watch the full watch along with Kartal, myself, Sebastian, the not sporting director, Heinat, and Le Financier, the Dutch Eagle himself, Ural Alhan. We watched the game together. You can see in real time how we felt about the performance tonight. And thanks for watching. And congratulations once again to Konyaspor.
Like, follow, subscribe. Check out that WhatsApp QR code right there to join the conversation that's very likely going to start as soon as we're done here, because I feel like there's a debate already brewing. And as always, I don't know if I have. Let's go Beşiktaş. Sorry, I can't do it today. I'm not doing that today with energy. But I will shout out our special batch of subscribers. Give me the list. Oscar, no comments, Erzavaci, Nate, Dog, Nathan Davis, we saw you there at the end there. Shout out to you. Spinach, not the Swedish kebab with the coffin. Tristan Berkey Cray, Michael Berry, Umer, Mr. Super Positive Gunhal, Tayfur Yaylagu, Sarper Özdemir, Efe Sezen, Özcan the Twin Oğuz, Atilcan the Chicago Pope Malak, Murder Merker Mert Oğuz, Ozgudus, Eray Gondur, Serkan Yüzen, Ali J, Turkish Delight 28, Flacco 54, The Benefactor, Dara the Irishman Hensi, Mario 1 and a 2 and a 3, Vargas, Onur Sedden, Niall Tariq, Sebastian the Not Sporting Director Heinat, Omata K2H, Batman the Vigilante Turk, Nasty Nas, Nasser, Mr. Man U, and of course, the indomitable, the indefatigable, the indubitable Le Financier himself, the Dutch Eagle. Shouts to you all. Bow, bow,